Opposition 3. Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is March 13, 2022 Sunday. You're watching my 10th video. I felt the need to make another video on the opposition, which is the third. Opposition bloc's complete loss of direction, confusing the means and purpose, and losing vote base against the government bloc is the motive behind this broadcast. On February 28, the manifest script of the 6 opposition parties was announced. It received a lot of criticism from the date selection to the invitation list. In general, I find the meeting and the manifest positive for being able to come together and to be in coordination somehow. Like many other people, the emphasis on the 1921 Constitution surprised and disturbed me as well. Those who know history will tell you that the 1921 Constitution was a transitional constitution under the conditions of that period. The main target was the 1924 Constitution, which has reached full maturity after all the revolutions and transformations accomplished. Let's remember that in the 1921 Constitution there was a sultanate, there was no republic, there was no secularism, there was no unitary state, there was no women's rights, etc. The owner of the idea is obvious, who defines 1921 Constitution with more coverage and characterized the later ones as narrow-minded. 2 weeks later than the manifest's announcement, the rumors got louder and louder that the 6-party opposition bloc was disintegrating. The party leader, who is the source of problems rather than solutions, is very well known in the bloc. If harsh warnings don't do the job anymore, the radical solution is obvious. The idea of the 1921 Constitution especially created great joy and excitement among romantic liberal leftists, who were ready to go after any noisy propaganda blindly. We remember this crowd, whose mere concern is to follow trends and appear fashionable only, with the damage they caused by supporting yes, but not enough campaign before. It is obvious that the consciousness of feeling responsible for what harm they did has not developed in this group of people. While they do not have any problems like building knowledge or experience during their lifetime, they do not hesitate to share their views and ideas loudly using big words. The name of Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, as the candidate of the opposition bloc, is getting stronger day by day. In the ideal environment, he may be the perfect candidate for this job, but unfortunately the facts are bitter and harsh. Being able to win the election is the prerequisite and a must. Although Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu is the kindest and most civilized politician to follow the late Mesut Yilmaz and the late Ismail Cem, it does not seem possible for him to overcome the sectarian reflex in our rigid-minded society. Mansur Yavaş, who is the architect of finding the common ground for cost-sharing in public transport of Ankara, is currently at the forefront in all polls and currently is the most realistic candidate. It has become clear that the vast majority of the opposition media is now a deadweight, burden and liability for the opposition bloc. Even the bodyguard of an opposition parliament member, who is coming from media background and still responsible for media relations for the party, has physically attacked a journalist during February 28 meeting, which indicates how deep the media-related problem is. Again, it can only be called disgrace when an opposition channel's anchorman belittled Bayraktar TB2 armed drones as toys and simple montages on live TV. Despite all the repeated mistakes in foreign policy, Turkey's diplomatic hand still remains strong, because these drones were mentioned to be very effective, economic and flexible in the foreign press in almost every country. We owe the extremely heavy diplomatic traffic in Antalya to the battlefield advantages accomplished by these drones. I'm not even mentioning the so-called dissident press, who coined the definition of a person from Turkey instead of a Turk and denigrated every positive thing in the country without exception. The opposition's silence to this media is getting the public's reaction it deserves. That's why the opposition bloc can't attract undecided voters to their side, because they are not trusted. Politics close to the center has played a key role in almost every country. CHP is in the center-left position, while İYİ Party is in the center-right. Political Islam and bigoted people want İYİ Party to move to their side, while communists and PKK sympathizers want CHP on their side. It would be best for these two parties to try to widen their electoral base coverage without leaving the center. Kılıçdaroğlu's visit to Diyarbakır is very appropriate in this respect. There will always be those who try to interpret with different purposes or try to impose different meanings. However, CHP, as a party, which could not go to east of Sivas, finally got rid of that psychological barrier. Tansu Çiller's efforts to start a new party is speeding up. Last year, as the veil of secrecy started to clear up on the subject of unsolved murders of the 90s, to which Sedat Peker gave clues and now reinforced with further information presented in the confessions of that period's hitman Oyhan Çarkans. I find it difficult to understand why the opposition remains silent and how Tansu Çiller finds the courage to enter politics again. where her name is mentioned in these confessions many times. By the way, I have never seen HDP and especially Pervin Buldan criticize Tansu Çiller, whereas Buldan's husband was the victim of an unsolved murder in 1994, when Tansu Çiller was prime minister. However, HDP has never missed any opportunity to criticize and attack the six-party bloc and especially the İYİ Party. The dismissal of the energy minister is now on the agenda according to political rumors. Unfortunately, after so many mistakes and destruction in energy and agriculture were made, it is a mystery why the opposition does not propose a proper alternative policy and silently watches the replacement of ministers like ordinary people. Although I do not find it very convincing, it is said that Bekir Poktimeli will leave the AK Party and join an opposition party. If this is true and that party is within the sixth bloc, I wonder how opposition bloc will dare to ask for the people to vote for them. Thanks for watching. See you on the next broadcast. Goodbye, broadcast.